Hello, everybody, and welcome again to another live interview with a Novel Connection. We have here with us author Amelia Bronson. I apologize for our interview starting late. We had a last-minute change of plans, which caused us to be a little bit late, but here we are now. So, Amelia, how's it going?
It's going good. Never done anything like this, so.
Yeah, cool. So I see that you have your child here with you, which brings up a kind of a thought, more of a question. So what is it like balancing being a writer and being a mom?
Oh my gosh, this is my youngest. I have two, and I had them both within 1 year. So it's really crazy, but they're both very good, and like they play to themselves, so I can have like my space, my time. It's only when it gets really, really quiet where I have to be like, okay, where are they?
Yeah,
Where they go?
yeah. That's awesome. I myself have two young children, so I completely understand the difficulties and the struggles between being a writer, also myself being a business owner. I know you yourself are somewhat of an entrepreneur, and being a mom, it can be very difficult. It can be very difficult. Now, when do you write?
I write all day. So anytime I'm just sitting here, I like have the TV on for the kids or something, and then I just sit and I write, and then I write into the night. So.
Okay, so that's pretty much what you're doing, and you're raising your kids in between writing, fixing them lunch, and things like that.
Yep.
Okay, I completely understand that. That's exactly how my day goes. Less writing for me these days and more working on a novel connection. But same sort of thing. That it's difficult being a mom and trying to do these things, but at least we get to work while we're at home with our kids, right?
Right.
So tell us about your books. I know that you have a recent book release, The Good Guys Don't Bite, which I got to be a part of the event that you put on for it. It was very exciting. Why don't you tell us about that?
Yeah, that's my vampire and werewolf book, and I know it's like a complete cliche, and like, of course, the vampires and werewolf things, but like in this book, I definitely try to be in the neutral ground where you yourself can decide whether you want to be like on the werewolf side or the vampire side. I don't favor either or because they're both kind of not very nice in the whole thing. And that's where like my series kind of starts getting a little like darker, and there's more of a romance in it. So a lot more character development in it. And I really liked writing it a lot.
That's awesome. So now you said something about it being cliche, writing about vampires and werewolves, but I mean, there's a reason why it's such a popular thing to write about, because everybody seems to be so captivated by vampires and werewolves. So what do you think it is about vampires and werewolves? It seems like more so vampires, though. So what do you think is so captivating about that for writers and readers?
Well, I think a lot of readers and writers have gotten into like vampires are now sexy, and everybody wants to be around that hot guy that has like superpowers and the whole biting thing. So I feel like as the years went on, it became that. So when people see a vampire book, they expect that instead of what like a traditional vampire is, which is like usually somebody not so good looking, very bat-like, and wants to kill everybody.
That makes a lot of sense. Actually, and I just realized something as you were saying that. I think you're right about that, because, I think that females have kind of and maybe more so young females, have a bad reputation for liking the bad boys. Mm-hmm. And so maybe that's a part of it, is that the vampire is evil, and it's kind of bad to be in love with a vampire, to be attracted to a vampire. And so maybe that's kind of what sparked up that whole trend of vampires.
Yeah, and they also try to do like, no, some vampires can be good, you know, because they're like, oh, you know, it's bad to like them because, you know, they're evil in a way to where they kill people and to, you know, survive. But then they're like, oh, but, you know, but I'm trying to be good. But my husband's like, no, all vampires deserve to die. I don't care.
Is your husband a writer? Just out of curiosity.
And no, he's not a writer at all, but he definitely helps me like with my writing process. The character Finn in my stories is pretty much based upon him, like his attitude and the way he is. I'll be like, oh, I don't know what to write. Like, what would you do in this situation? And
Yeah.
sometimes I'll be like, oh, that's such a great idea. And then sometimes I'm like, no, I can't do that. No, Finn is a halfling. He cannot just up and kill this entire village of werewolves and vampires. It just does not happen.
Yeah, and then he's like invested into your story. Actually, that's funny. That's how when I was writing my book, Folklore and the Wicked Sorcerer, my husband helped me with a lot of the plot development, at least in the early stages of writing it. I also, same as you, I took a character and kind of based it off his personality. I think it's easy to do that because, sometimes it's hard to get in the mind of a personality that you're not familiar with. So I think that even if people aren't doing it consciously, I think that we all kind of make our characters based off of people we've known, people we've met, maybe people we see on TV all the time. Because when I go and I reread my book, I find personalities that I'm totally familiar with, whether it's somebody in my family or a friend, that I didn't even realize that I had done it. Do you find yourself doing the same thing?
Yeah, like it's usually my husband or my friends when they read like my stuff, they'll be like, oh my gosh, that's totally, so and so. And I'm like, what? Really? They're like, no, yeah, you read this right here. And I'm like, oh my gosh, you're right.
It totally is. Yeah, I actually named some of my friends. I named some of my characters after some of my friends and family in my book, and I made sure that I told them, I'm just naming the characters after you, okay? The personalities aren't like you, so I don't want you to be reading this and think to yourself, oh my God, does she really think this about me? Or anything like that. So some of them I accidentally did the personalities. Some of them I just did the names, and so hopefully none of my family and friends thinks that I misrepresented them or anything like that, Okay, so tell me, so you just released The Good Guys Don't Buy. It's book 2 in the series. So how many books are in the series? Where are you taking the series? Just tell me about the series as a whole.
So far, there are 2 books that are out in the series, but book 3 is up for pre-order right now on Amazon. And I have no idea how many are going to be in it, but I'm thinking at least 5. The way this is going, at least 5.
Uh-huh. Okay, so now that brings on a question. You say you're not sure. So how exactly do you write a series? Do you plan out the entire series before you start writing it, or do you kind of do the plan as you go? Does it change as you're writing it? Talk to me.
I usually, when I first started, it was just like I sat down and I wrote whatever just came to my mind. And like, I always know what's going to happen at the end. Like straight up at the end, I know what's going to happen. I don't know how it's going to get there until I just sit down and write. And so my first book, I just sat down and write whatever was on my mind. And then my second one, I was like, okay, I need a little more like structure. So then I kind of plotted it out better. But that one was a lot easier because I knew exactly what it was going to be when I started. And then this one, I actually like got a plot board. I have it all set up. But even as I'm writing, I'm like, oh, yeah, I know that was supposed to happen in this chapter, but no, we're not going to do that anymore. And then I'm like, okay, yeah, I know they have to get to here. But if they're here, how are they going to get to here? Oh, I guess that means I just have to write a whole nother book. Okay.
gives you an excuse to keep it going. I know sometimes it's hard to let go. I think about I'm writing my second book in the series right now. It was supposed to be out this month, but that's not happening. But I think about what it will be like when I'm finished writing my third book, because this is my first series, and I started writing it when I was 12. I'm so emotionally attached to it. I find myself getting sad thinking about when I'm going to be done, almost like there's going to be some sort of my life. Do you relate to that at all? You've written more books than me, so maybe you're kind of past that, but what are your thoughts about that?
My thoughts are yes and no. Like, I find myself getting emotional about my books as I'm writing them, because I'll be like, especially when it gets to like something really sad, like if somebody dies, I'll be writing it like, and no, I can't believe this is happening as I'm like typing it. I'm like, and then I can't even type it. Next, next chapter. I'm leaving it at that. I can't even write this right now. But even like getting to the end to me is like exciting, because I'm like, oh man, yeah, this is gonna be so good. They're gonna love this. My biggest thing is like the ending of series are like a lot of pressure, because I've read a lot of series and I'm like, I've read some where I'm like, that's it? Seriously? This is how you're just gonna end everything? No. And I don't want people to be that.
Yeah, you're like, gosh, I don't want people to be unhappy with the way it ends. I know. Okay, so I'm gonna wrap this up here. I had a lot of fun sitting and chatting with you, Amelia. Actually, Amelia and I have spoke a lot. So it, kind of over messages and stuff. So it's kind of exciting to finally get to connect with you. But tell us where we can find you, Amelia. Where are you at on the internet?
I'm obviously on Facebook all the time. I'm on Twitter. You can find my books on Amazon. I have a Author Amazon page too. Say yeah. Say like my mom's page. Like it.
Hello. Hi, Paige. Now, Amelia, on my end, you were kind of cutting out when you were talking about where people can find you. So why don't you repeat that just in case you were cutting out for the viewers as well?
All right. You can find me on Facebook. I have an author page. You can find me on Twitter, and you can find me on Amazon. I have an Amazon page and Goodreads as well.
Okay. And do they just look up Author Amelia Bronson?
Yep.
Okay, perfect. Also, Amelia is going to be in our takeover. Is it today that you're going to be in the takeover?
Yes.
Okay, I thought so. If you go onto Facebook, go into the search bar and type in ANC. That's ANC submissions giveaway event. You'll see. Giveaway party. You'll be able to catch Amelia there. So I just want to remind everybody to like and subscribe to this channel for more live interviews with authors, bloggers, anybody in the literature world. If you're a reader, if you're a writer, do business tips, we do writing tips, anything in the literature world we do. So like and subscribe to this channel. Also, don't forget to go to www.novelconnection.com and subscribe to one of our connections. You get unlimited downloads of books. Okay, that's all we have time for today. Author Amelia Bronson, thank you so much for filling in at the last second. You're awesome. And thank you to Paige, too. Bye. You're welcome. You guys keep it real.